At the very beginning of your fitness journey, you may have absolutely no idea what to do or where to start or even how your body works. That's completely okay. You've got to start somewhere, so let's start with the basics. But before we get into that, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fitness information and workouts. First, let's talk about warming up. Your body is made up of a variety of soft tissues like muscles, tendons, and ligaments that are pliable to various degrees. When these tissues fall into disuse, have been inactive for an extended period of time, or are cold in response to ambient temperature, they lack this pliability. This makes those tissues especially stiff and tight and subsequently not readily available for use in speed or strength applications or for activities requiring an especially large degree of mobility, without a sharp decrease in performance and a sharp increase in chance of injury. Basically, if they're stiff, you're going to injure yourself. Imagine your muscles or other tissues as rubber bands. If a rubber band is cold, it loses its ability to stretch and is much easier to snap. In the same way, a cold muscle is much easier to push to the point of being pulled or torn, which can sideline you for weeks and can possibly need major surgery to be corrected. Spending 15 minutes or so warming up is worth avoiding the time spent injured if you don't warm up. Alright, so warming up is important, but how should you warm up? Ideally, warming up should start off easy and mimic the types of movements you'll be doing during your training session. For a run, you might spend a few minutes walking at a brisk pace and then move into a bit of a longer, nice, easy jog. You may also do some range of motion exercises to ensure that the tissues are capable of moving in the ways that you need them to. We want to avoid static stretching for warming up, as static stretches can hinder power production and, if done before your workout, can make your muscles more prone to injury. Your movements should be dynamic and should continue until you have a light sweat going. That will be a good indication that your body temperature is elevated enough for you to begin training with a reduced risk of injury.
My body is ready.
If you don't have a good warm-up, you can use this one right here. Now, let's talk about your cardio. Cardiovascular fitness is a topic of much debate among people in the fitness community. How much should you do and at what intensity? And, quote, will walking for 20 minutes 3 times a week make my legs shrink? We won't get into all of the controversy. Instead, we're going to start by just talking about what cardiorespiratory fitness is and what the benefits of cardiorespiratory fitness are. Cardiorespiratory fitness is the body's circulatory and respiratory system's ability to supply oxygen and fuel to the body's systems as a whole during continuous, sustained physical activity. The benefits of cardiorespiratory fitness and muscular endurance are vast. Increasing the efficiency of your heart and lungs, increasing the number of small arteries in the trained muscles, increasing capillary density in those muscles, as well as increasing how much oxygen can be taken in by the lungs and delivered to the muscles. That's quite a bit. It also reduces the risk of a mountain of diseases, including heart disease, lung cancer, and type 2 diabetes, and can reduce health risk factors such as obesity and high cholesterol. Scientists are now saying that cardiorespiratory fitness can possibly be a bigger indicator of quality of life and increased lifespan than any other health indicator. Suffice it to say, it's important. It doesn't take much to improve your cardiorespiratory fitness. 30 to 60 minutes of moderate, sustained cardio, such as jogging, biking, swimming, or circuit training 3 to 5 times a week, averaging in at about 150 to 180 minutes per week, is all it takes to greatly improve your cardiorespiratory fitness. If you are just beginning your cardiorespiratory and endurance training, start first by trying to maintain lower intensity activity like walking for 20 or 30 minutes at a time. Especially at the beginning of your training, increases in duration are far more important than increases in intensity, both to avoid overtraining and injuries, and so that you can focus on developing the endurance adaptations for the whole body: heart, lungs, muscles, tendons, ligaments, and bones. Going too fast or too hard too quickly can wear down your body in a hurry, and you need to remember that your tissues, such as your ligaments, tendons, and especially bone, adapt at a much slower rate than your muscles, so progressing slowly is important. Proper form in whatever activity you choose is absolutely necessary because it will help you avoid overuse injuries. Once you're regularly training for 150 to 180 minutes per week, you can begin to increase the intensity with harder intervals. Now, let's discuss strength training. It's no secret that we here at The Anime Trainer love strength training. Strength training is very, very important. Stronger is always better, no matter the sport or the application. That does not always mean that strength training needs to look the same for every person, because it doesn't. The methods depend upon the individual goals of the person, if the person is training for a particular sport or activity, and the available equipment. There are different ways that you can train strength, or what's called resistance training. The two biggest and most common are bodyweight exercises and weightlifting. Good old picking things up and putting them down. When training for muscular strength, there are different adaptations that can occur depending on the rep range being trained in the exercises. As an example, using a weight that approaches your 1 rep max, which is the most amount of weight that you can lift in a movement one time with good form, will trigger primarily neurological adaptations in the muscle dealing with nerves firing and fiber recruitment. As you get further away from that rep range, you begin to affect the size of the muscle, and further than that, the capacity of the muscle to perform endurance activity. However, as long as you are increasing the weight being used over time, you are improving strength, whether or not it is at 1 RM or 20 RM. One more directly impacts maximal strength than the other, but stronger is stronger. With bodyweight movements, progression is a little different, with progression being focused more on changing positions to increase difficulty, but we'll talk more about progressions for weightlifting and bodyweight exercises at a later time. The benefits of strength training are many and include, of course, increased strength, increased muscular endurance due to maximal strength increase. Weights that used to feel heavy don't feel as heavy and therefore don't sap as much energy. Improved bone density and muscle mass. Increased testosterone and growth hormone production, and recent studies show that strength training positively impacts mood and fights depression. We can talk more about the specifics at another time, but a general rule is no matter what your goals are, stronger is better. After working out, you need to make sure that you are cooling down and stretching, so let's talk about that. You've just had a really intense workout, your muscles are fried, your blood is pumping, and your breath is ragged. It's time to just lay on the ground and try not to die, right? Assume the position.
Here, I brought a sensu bean! I don't think that's gonna work. Why not? I sort of have a hole in my esophagus.
While occasional high-intensity workouts might leave you as a puddle on the gym floor, most workouts will not and should immediately be followed by lower-intensity movements to lower your heart rate and to prevent blood from pooling in your extremities. Some examples of cooling down would include walking briskly, gradually slowing down over time, similar movements to your warm-up for that day, but with more emphasis on trying to relax and bring your heart rate back down, and finally, light static stretching and foam rolling. Ideally, you should foam roll before you stretch in order to work out the stiffness in the fascia surrounding the muscle, which will make it more pliable and more receptive to static stretching. You don't want to spend an excessive amount of time stretching individual muscles. 30 seconds per stretch is fine. We're just looking to loosen up and relax following your workout. At the end of your cool down and stretching routine, following your training session, your heart rate will have returned to normal and you should feel largely normal apart from the muscular and physical fatigue from the workout itself. If you leave the gym without doing these things, it will affect your recovery. If you leave the gym stiff, you will be stiff. And speaking of recovery, you don't get stronger when you train. You get stronger when you recover. Recovery is multifaceted and includes getting enough sleep, eating and drinking appropriate amounts, and using various other techniques to aid the body's natural ability to repair itself from the stresses of training. Be it rebuilding micro tears in the muscles, laying down additional bone mass, or replenishing hormonal supplies and flushing out bodily waste, recovery includes a host of things more than knowing to train 4 days a week with the bodybuilding split you found in a magazine and drinking a protein shake. There are some very basic things that you can do to speed your recovery. Get enough sleep, of course. Make sure your nutrition is on point. Warming up before your workouts and cooling down, stretching, and foam rolling after your workouts are excellent ways to assist the body in returning to a healed state. You can get a massage or see a physical therapist for more nagging aches and pains. Going on extended walks or doing other light cardio is extremely helpful for recovery because it allows blood to flow through those muscles without additional strain, which aids in healing a lot more than sitting around watching Netflix. Pay attention to your training program's light or recovery days. They are there for a reason. Temperature therapy is also a good idea. Cold water therapy is great for dealing with pain, but recent studies show that saunas and hot baths are phenomenal at aiding recovery and can actually improve circulation, increase testosterone and growth hormone production, and even help heal wounds faster, specifically the sauna, if regularly utilized. You use ice for pain after trauma or injury and heat for recovery. Changing up your training so you aren't always tearing down the same muscle groups with the same movements is also a good way to help aid your recovery. You don't want to do the exact same workout every single day because you're not giving your body time to recover. Supplements such as branched-chain amino acids can also help speed recovery, but the possible benefits of supplementation is a topic for another time. Recovery, just like your training, needs to be high quality and consistent. And there you have it, a brief overview of some basics of training for those of you who know absolutely nothing about working out. On this channel, you'll find lots of information and plenty of workouts to teach you about your body and how to move. So feel free to leave a comment and ask questions if you can't find what you're looking for. I'm the Anime Trainer. Thanks so much for watching this video, and until next time, guys, good luck and train hard.